So, hi guys. If you are like me, when you read some of these Bible stories, you'll be asking some kind of questions. Like, why did Satan leave Job's wife? Have you ever thought about that? Why did he leave only her? Let's look into the story. In the land of Uz, long before kingdom rose and fell like the ancient shores, there lived a man named Job. We all know Job's story. He was blameless and upright, a man who feared God and stayed away from evil. But you already know this part of the story. You also know about the oxen and the camels and all his livestock, all gone in one day. The raiders that came from the east, the fire from heaven, the building that collapsed and killed all his children. You know the story. You also know about the boils, the ashes, the scraping with the pottery shards. Face it. But there is something people miss, something that lingers in the shadows of ancient story like a whisper. Job lost everything except one person, his wife. Why? Why did he lose every single thing but his wife? When Satan came before God to ask for permission to test Job, you see, it was not a challenge against Job. It was a challenge against God's trust in his creation. Stretch out your hands, Satan said. Touch everything he has and he will surely curse you. God was not moved and he knew his boy. So God gave him permission with boundaries, and Satan now went to work with precision. You see, he took all Job's livestock to drain his wealth, took all of his servants to isolate him, and then to break Job's heart, he took all of his children. As if that wasn't enough, he decided to torment his soul by taking Job's health. These attacks were very calculated. You see, in this world, you may have many problems until you have a health issue. That's when you know you have only one problem. Satan was very, very calculative with his attacks, and that was the final blow. He made Job sick. Now, with all of this happening to Job, Satan left one voice in the hall, because sometimes the enemy doesn't need to touch everything to destroy you. Sometimes he leaves one thing untouched, not out of mercy, but out of strategy. Satan didn't spare Job's wife out of mercy, not because he was a good person and he had suddenly changed. He spared her because he knew she could become a weapon, an unguarded gate to Job's heart. Okay, moving forward. Now, in the smoldering silence after this disaster, there were no more songs in Job's house, but one voice remained. See, this is trouble. Are you still holding on to your integrity, this man? Curse God and die. Very harsh words, cold words. And also note, she didn't say, let us curse God so we die. He said, curse God and die. Only you. In her defense, if there is any, Job's wife wasn't possessed. If anything, she was broken. She was a grieving mother. It was her children too who died. A traumatized woman watching her husband rot from the inside. She saw the ashes and the sores and the silence, and it crushed her. She wasn't Satan's puppet. She was human. She was fragile. She was hurting. And that's why Satan left her. He knew he didn't need to strike her body when her words could strike Job's soul, because the wrong voice in your time of suffering can feel like an attack from within. Sometimes the hardest battles are not with what you've lost, but with who remains. Hi, I'm dropping wisdom here. I hope you're jotting things down so that you can... Sorry. Job stood in the ashes, scraping his wounds, now facing a deeper pain. The voice of the one who should be comforting him. But you see, Job did not lash out at her. He did not curse her. Instead, he said, you speak like a foolish woman. Shall we accept the good from God and not the trouble? No wonder God decided to test this man. How many people would have passed this test? With all this, Job rebuked her words, but did not rebuke her. Because even in his brokenness, he could tell the difference between the voice of evil and the voice of pain. And that is part of the test. Can you recognize when somebody you love is hurting and not hating? Can you still hold your ground when support turns to sorrow and when comfort turns to confusion? And so, we didn't hear from Job's wife again. But if you read to the end, you will notice something very powerful. When God restored Job, he gave him double of everything. More sheep, more camels, more children, 7 sons and 3 daughters. But think, who gave birth to these children? The same woman, the one who told him to curse God and die, the one who wept beside empty graves, the one who lost her faith for a moment. God didn't replace her, God restored her, because her story wasn't over. The flame that flickered in the wind was not extinguished. So, why did Satan leave Job's wife? She was not the threat, she was the test. Not the sword, but the silence after the strike. Not the destroyer, but the echo that lingered after the devastation. And yet, In the eyes of God, not even the broken are beyond restoration. Now, here's the lesson. The enemy doesn't come with horns and fire. Sometimes it comes like a whisper through somebody close to you. But if you stand firm, if you see past the moment, you will understand. What the enemy used to shake you, God can use to shape you. Satan touched everything but her, because her words were meant to be the final blow. But Job endured. And in the end, even the broken voice was healed. So, hold on. Even when the one beside you falters, even when the last voice that's left says, give up, hold on. Because sometimes the person Satan left behind is still the same person God can use for the next chapter of your life. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in the next story.